Good morning folks, it's Saturday. It's the first time in weeks that we've been actually able to get out properly because the weather in the UK has been atrocious. So we have come somewhere today that's quite unique to tell you a little bit more about the place as we go. So anyway guys, welcome to Bekonscot. Let's go and do this. First up, your actual ticket office for entrance is an old train carriage, which is quite unique and really adds to the ambience of the place. I think it's got a shop inside it as well. Towards the back there I can see there's a small narrow gauge railway that goes parallel with the site, as well as a model railway, model boats, and this of course is the world's oldest model village. Everything you see that's come after this date is pretty much take inspiration from this place. So our first view as we come in, it sort of gives us the idea or the conception that we're actually in a seaside town, but we're actually in probably the southernest point of Buckinghamshire, just where it touches Berkshire, to be honest with you. This is Bekonscot. The place is about 1.5 acres. It's very busy today, although the weather, as you can see up there, is not brilliant because this is the summer holidays here in the UK. But we'll have a look around, and it's one of them say what you can see. There's some cute elephants down here, but yeah, I'm liking the vibes. I've been to places like this in Devon and Cornwall predominantly. There's a model village, I think it's Babacombe. That's one of the places that has obviously taken inspiration from here. But it's quite quirky and meets the channel. I've just noticed this is obviously a zoo area, as I've just seen penguins in here. So that's modelled obviously because I've seen that before. I've seen the actual penguin enclosure at London Zoo, and that's modelled after that, that's for sure. It's pretty cool. Chimps Tea Park here at the back there. They're an aviary. Apes, gorillas, etc. And the rain has just started to fall, which is not great, but we'll persevere. We've pretty much taken the window of opportunity to dash back out again. Literally we just had to run for cover because the heavens opened up and soaked pretty much everyone. Thankfully the camera and ourselves didn't get it too badly. It's all the intricate little details that you've got within these houses, the bars, etc. So they're thinking it is in like a time warp set back in the 1930s. I guess it's because it opened in 1929. But trains going around, it really is beautiful. If you go to the likes of your Legoland, you'll have something similar, but obviously with the infrastructure of Lego behind the building of it. Germany Pavilion in Epcot's got one of these. They seem to sprout up pretty much everywhere nowadays, but this is the big one, the main one, the one that set the standards for them all. And it is quite remarkable, to be honest with you. Set in 1.5 acres. This train's just about to come past. Beautiful old cottages. You imagine what they would be like if they were life size. The feeling you get in here is if you've been shrunken down to miniature, like Honey I Shrunk the Audience, Honey I Shrunk the Movie, that sort of type vibe. Is the barley mow. Don't know whether it's set around places in this area or not. A little tiny stream makes it appear to be a massive river. local dignitaries. I guess that's a mayor, town choir, etc. And that is a town hall, it's old staging post, the old coach and horses would have parked underneath that, and that would have been like a, I don't know, like a hotel type of thing. Rachel has just said that the cinema is showing Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, so pretty cool. Truly is the fine detail that you find. All these little windows with the little trinkets inside to depict the size of the things to fit perfectly. Old prison van there. It wouldn't surprise me if there's an inmate behind bars in here somewhere. You've got some bent windows there. How about that? A bit of free advertising for Waitrose there. Wonder whether they contribute with having their name here. So just as we said Waitrose, Rachel's spotted and pointed out a Marks and Spencer's. More of a dribble than a fountain here coming out of that. There's stables, and there's a rugby match in progress taking part as we are parallel with the Bekonscot train station and the bus depot as well. Classic old cemetery there. Grave diggers, coffins, even got stained glass window. I wonder whether that lights up at any point. Choir. I think for maybe a day, possibly up to a week, providing you could find things that you could eat, actually the stores would serve edible things, I would be quite happy to be shrunk down to the size to fit in here, just to see what it would be like. I'd imagine your main problem would be your killer giant squirrels and giant cats, that's what it would appear to be like. Another station, another train. Local schoolhouse. I'm guessing, yep, that's the girls playing netball. And that's lacrosse. That's not a sport that you'd see a lot of over in the UK, to be honest with you. Perhaps Ireland. I do like this classic harbour. It reminds me a lot of, I always get this wrong, is it Megavissey or Mevagissey? I don't know, it's the pronunciation. I think it's Megavissey. I don't know, it's one or the other anyway. But this always reminds me of that. Beautiful little harbour. I'd imagine at some point there's probably motors in some of these boats so they can travel off down the back there. A very famous residence house depicted here. Enid Blyton, was it the Famous Five? Sort of growing up, it was a name synonymous with books for, I believe it was school children. I don't know if she'd done the Railway Children or not. Could have done, possibly. I'm just surprised the amount of effort that is taken to do all this. And they're not just static, there's a lot of movement. I'm seeing a lot of things that you're in around the house areas, and you'll see like a little rope, little pulley, moving someone's arm, etc. That reminds me of the old, is it Hovis Hill? Salisbury area? Dorset maybe? It's a classic fair from the era of the 1930s. There's not a lot, to be honest with you, that's changed nowadays. The waltzers certainly are still about. I can't see a twister in there, maybe that would come afterwards, but you've got the carousel, helter skelter, they're still going strong. The big wheel, them sort of rocking boat swings. That spaceship thing over the back there that turns round, I know. Oh, was it Carter's? Carter's Steam Fair used to have one of those. Unfortunately, it was their last ever year last year, and that went on tour. And there's some famous shots of that ride in action. It would actually, as it goes around the top, it would pivot and turn round. But really cool. Perfect timing. A fire has started in the thatch cottages. The fire crew are on site, putting it out. Just the trickery and imagination to actually be able to do that. Looks really, really brilliant. Just saying to Rach, they're actually quicker doing the road back here on this model site than they are on modern days with the potholes everywhere. I suppose you don't think about it that the old traction engine, the big old steam engines we use for doing things like, I always wondered what they were for, but that sort of kind of makes sense now. Very Art Deco underground station there, and if you look, it actually shows the underground. How cool is that? That's obviously a tube line. This is actually 7 little villages or hamlets put together to create this model village. It's not all supposed to be just the one. So obviously gauging that that's some sort of original Hoover building. Is that local? I don't know, but you can see a lot of irons up there. Fridges, washing machines, etc. King Charles Hotel. I wonder whether that's always been King Charles Hotel or it's just been redone recently. Village furniture store. Haberdashery and Trimmings. It's a name you don't hear nowadays, haberdashery. Classic old newsagents. Been on many of those. There's some still in Bournemouth. Some down towards the Babacombe, Torquay area. Make your way down to the beach. Reminds me, I've not been to the seaside for a long, long time. And this place certainly gives off them vibes. Let's see if I can get away from the shadow of the sun, because you can actually see within the contours of the church. I don't know if you're just getting reflection or not, guys, but I'm trying to stand in the way of the sun, but also making the most of it while it's out, because it's been horrendous recently. Imagine if I got shrunk down, I could do a spirit box around there somewhere. How about this, guys? I could even do urbex here. Look at that, some old ruins. I'll walk around and vlog that for you. That wind chime windmill reminds me very much of Twister. Sort of the middle states of America. Sort of thing you'd find out there. Not so much over here. We even have an airport. Old planes, helicopters, etc. Train coming around the back of the houses just below us. Someone having an afternoon tea, and there's even a little doggy helping with the gardening in the garden there. And there's a lady there putting her washing out. Some hens in a chicken coop. So the gates actually work. The gates open, and then the train can come past. That is cool. You don't get more weirder and quirkier in the UK than your classic Morris dancers. In some places, I think out more Cambridge way, they actually paint their faces black like the black and white minstrels and do it, and I believe they really scare the children in the area. Very Art Deco building there. That'd be fantastic to own something like that. Just look at the detail in this. It looks like people dressed in their finery. You can see all the tables, the lamps, the bedrooms, etc. That is amazing detail. Probably got my reflection in it as much as anything else, and sorry about that, guys. That is super cool. Look, even light in the little lamp. Looks like a kiddie's playroom there, and an office area down the bottom. That is stunning. Come upstairs to this large viewing platform to give you scale of what we've been walking around. It's a beautiful place, and they do discounts for seniors, those who are unemployed, those who have disabilities, their carers, etc. Beautiful castle setting down there. And you've got the troops on parade in their bearskin hats. I do imagine that a lot of these places where you're seeing these things, kitchens and bathrooms, etc., because you look at that, it's got a website, so I'd imagine it's a sponsor. Although that's not good though, because you can see the wallpaper peeling there on the second floor. (1940) grammar school. Certainly a thing of the past. Very reminiscent of your Grand National scenes that you see a lot of. Although this is flat racing by the looks of it. You know what, I've never actually been to see a horse race. I've seen dog racing. Close up at the guards in the castle, and there's a scene reminiscent of Jaws there. Look at the size of them fish in comparison with the people. You're certainly going to need a bigger boat. There's a football match taking place. Okay, the blue and light blue, sky blue, dark blue quarters, I would turn around and say, because of the proximity and we are in Buckinghamshire, that would be Wycombe Wanderers. The red and white, not so sure. I can't really think, to be honest with you, who that would be, whether they would be local or not. Might come to me. Anyway, someone scored a goal. You can see the ball in the back of the net up right in the distance there. Pretty cool. Rachel's just pointed out, oh look, a swimming pool. You sort of kind of expect that to have water in it. Unfortunately it hasn't, so the illusion's not quite there. There's someone floating in space. Really, really good. Heavens, looks as if they're going to open up again soon. That tree, you'd have to say if it is or not. It's very reminiscent of a bonsai tree.
Ted wants to show you the lady in the window.
Another hamlet, little village. The old rocking horse. You got swings there as well. Cat by a water pump by the looks of it. Couple out walking their dog. Seems to be sporadic, but things kick into gear and things happen. You've got the people doing the work on the thatch cottage and the ladder falling away there. Yeah guys, look at this for detail. Look at this window here. Is she cleaning the window or is she just waving to everybody? How quirky is that? And that's probably about the size of maybe a thumb and a finger. Just reached the hospital area. You see down here, obviously the waiting room. There's your classic child with a saucepan stuck on his head. The jokes don't get any better as you get older. And there we have it. Very much a HAPPY scene. People in a ward. Roughly about, I guess, a mile from where we live, we've actually got Canal Lock, Fanny Lock. Very reminiscent of that, of a footbridge going over the top of it, with a Red Lion pub to the side of it. You close one side of the lock, let it fill up with water. Then you'd open the other side of the lock to get to the level and close it up behind you, and you're on your way. And you can just hear the fair as we're at the back side of the fair again, not the back side of water. And that fire is really taking hold over the back there. As you just spotted this. What would that be? Is it a ski lift or sky lift?
Yeah, I'd say sky lift.
There used to be one, I believe there used to be one at Woburn Abbey years and years ago. I think the closest one to us now is probably Alton Towers. And obviously they've got the ones in Florida now. I'm just feeling a few specks of rain again.
It's a wee ski lift.
Canoeists down the bottom there. Ovaltine. Now Ovaltine was based, was it Kings Langley? I believe it might have been Kings Langley. I always used to see it going into Watford, so I'm sure it could be. That's probably why it's pretty much here. A farm, auctions. It looks like a mine. Drilling for oil possibly. Oh wow, look at that. I get a close up of that. That house is falling over the bank. There we go. I could certainly do urbex in that place. The old erosion taking away the bottom part of the house. That will all fall and collapse in. And Jaws is back. Look at that. Just waiting for the poor unfortunate souls to fall into the water and he will devour them. Surprise actually. He probably has got a light in there that revolves and goes around. Old tall ship there by the lighthouse. Rowboat out there. That's giving off classic vibes of a old school pier at the seaside. Possibly Brighton. Very difficult to say because of the era. I suppose it's wherever people would have holidayed around then. Obviously what we did, when we holidayed to Florida, that wasn't even an option back in the 1930s. Actually got a beautiful watermill down here to the side. I'll show you that as we go past. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be there. Whether it's a kraken coming up or some sort of illusion. But yeah, you've got the river here, the stream, and you've got a watermill. And I'll just keep staying on that because the train's just about to go past. I'll flick up the top there, just the top there. The old gypsy site. You've got to admit, some of the old caravans they've got are really beautiful. There is someone recently in the community, I do the old urbex etc, that's found some amongst some old cars, one of them just laying abandoned. Old sheepdog there on the bank looking after the sheep. Beautiful old windmill at the top there. And that looks like someone's having a new thatch roof put in. Or is he just gathering the, just gathering the straw and the hay bales in a way that they used to have done. So when I go to some of these old farms and you see them laying in the back of the barns obsolete, that's what they would have been used for. And here comes yet another train. The circus is in town. We have the ringmaster. Trapeze artists, acrobats, and clowns. Well, there's one clown presenting to you anyway. Now at the back end of the zoo that we entered, the come in, poor rhino there is suffering from an attack by, look, must be, for his size, giant spiders looking at them cobwebs behind him. Giraffes at the back there. So you don't see these as you're walking past, it's cleverly hidden. Meerkats in there. Going up to a lion pit. Simba. Reptile house. And we have. They look more like bears, but they are. That is a chimp's tea party. And the old pandas. And a little bit more. Have an urbex for you. I would be in my element walking through that place. Just shrink me down just for a day. Herbie there at the garage. It's brilliant, they've even just got a rusty old vehicle sitting there. It's just the thought and the effort that come into it. More old Rex at the back there. The old sheepdog trials. And there's hens and ducks running a mess. Or a muck, should I say. More that Rachel's just pointed out of here, the sense of humour in this sort of area here, as we're by the side of an old mine. So you look at what it turns around and says, we hump it and burn it. So that's a coal merchant's. Crispy lettuce, the greengrocers. Is this Smiles or?
Smiles, yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to have that one. Even load arms. Pretty cool. And here we have an old mine. And I believe, hopefully, the cog should turn, the wheel should go in a process. There's Claire's just waving there in the window. Coal miner waving in the window as the coal goes up the escalator. And then we have The wheel going round, lowering people down into the mine shaft. See, now that is clever. I thought that was just, they were all glued to the conveyor belt, but they're not. Look, if you see them, the actual little rocks fall off the conveyor belt and go down there, and then I suppose they get sprinkled on it again at the back, and it goes up the conveyor belt. That is brilliant. The thought that went into that, because I would have just thought it would have been easier to glue little pebbles and rocks to a conveyor belt going round. Really, really good. And we have an old Roman ruins. And the horse, the old chalk horse on a hill. Anyway guys, that's going to do it for today's vlog. I really enjoyed it. It was probably an interactive hour, to be honest with you. The weather held out just about. We did have a little downpour where we had to run for cover, but yeah, it was nostalgic, should we say. Reminded me very much of going to the seaside, them sort of places like Bekonscot village down in Torquay, the Devon area. Obviously there's some down in Cornwall as well, can't remember where they are, on Goon Hilly possibly, but there's certainly model villages that way, and most of your coastal towns have got one on a smaller scale, but this is the one that started it all, the one that started it all for the whole of the world. This is the original. Before this, the conception of any of your ones of your likes of your Lego building villages, etc., they didn't exist. So without this place, you've got none of that. And with that guys, we've enjoyed it. We're going to get back in the car, make our way home. It's been about an hour's journey from MK here to Bekonscot, which is in Beaconsfield. And enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we will see you in the movies. Bye for now.